In the early hours of June 22, 2025, 7 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers took off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. They flew more than 6,500 miles, nonstop, across multiple oceans and continents, refueling in midair along the way. Their target: Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear facilities, buried under mountains of rock and reinforced concrete. Iranian radar never detected them. Iranian fighters never scrambled to intercept. According to the U.S. military, the mission achieved complete surprise. In under 30 minutes, 14 30,000-pound bunker-buster bombs were dropped on two of the most protected facilities on the planet. The aircraft that made this possible, flying halfway around the world and back, undetected in a single mission, is one of the strangest, most expensive, and most secretive aircraft ever built. This is the story of the B-2 Spirit.
Another world, sky.
The B-2 program began in the late 1970s, deep within America's most classified aviation research. The Cold War was entering a dangerous new phase. The Soviet Union had built one of the most sophisticated air defense networks in the world. Layers of radar, surface-to-air missiles, and interceptor aircraft designed to detect and destroy any bomber attempting to fly over Soviet territory. American planners faced a stark problem. Conventional bombers, however fast or well-armed, could be seen, and anything that could be seen could be shot down. The solution the Air Force pursued was radical: build a bomber that radar simply could not detect. Northrop was awarded the contract in 1981 under a level of secrecy that rivaled the Manhattan Project. The aircraft's shape, a flying wing with no vertical tail, no distinct fuselage, every surface angle to deflect radar waves rather than reflect them back to their source, was a product of years of research into a field barely understood at the time: radar cross-section reduction. The materials were equally revolutionary. Radar-absorbent composites covered the aircraft skin. The engines were buried deep within the wing structure, their exhaust cooled and shielded to minimize the infrared signature that heat-seeking systems could detect. The B-2 was designed to be, in the truest sense, nearly invisible, not to the human eye, but to the vast electronic detection systems that had come to define modern air defense. The first B-2 was unveiled to the public in November 1988, after 7 years of total secrecy. It first flew in July 1989, just months before the Berlin Wall fell and the war it was built to fight quietly disappeared. The B-2 had been designed for a conflict that never came. It would find other missions instead. When the Cold War ended, the B-2 program faced an uncomfortable question: was an aircraft built to defeat Soviet air defenses still worth building at all? Congress slashed the original order dramatically. Instead of the 132 aircraft the Air Force initially wanted, only 21 B-2s were ever built. That decision made the B-2 staggeringly expensive. With billions of dollars in research and development spread across just 21 airframes, each individual B-2 ended up costing more than $2 billion, making it, by a wide margin, the most expensive military aircraft ever produced. Every B-2 in the fleet operates from a single base, Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. The aircraft require climate-controlled hangars. Exposure to rain, humidity, and temperature swings can degrade the radar-absorbent coating that makes the aircraft stealthy in the first place. Maintaining a B-2 is one of the most labor-intensive, expensive undertakings in modern military aviation. The crew compartment holds just 2 pilots, an extraordinarily small crew for an aircraft this size and this capable. Missions can last over 30 hours round trip, with pilots eating, resting, and even sleeping in shifts inside a cockpit not much larger than a small camper. Every B-2 mission is a study in extremes: extreme cost, extreme secrecy, extreme endurance, and extreme capability. For over 3 decades, Only a small number of people outside the Air Force fully understood what the aircraft could actually do. That changed with a mission that made headlines around the world. Before we continue, let's take a closer look at the aircraft at the center of this story. The Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit, the most expensive aircraft ever built, and one of the most secretive. Long-range stealth strategic bomber, designed to penetrate the most heavily defended airspace on Earth without being detected. Wingspan, 172 feet. Length, just 69 feet. A flying wing design with no traditional fuselage or tail. Crew, 2 pilots. No more, no less. Flying missions that can last over 30 hours. Engines, 4 General Electric F1 18 turbofans, buried within the wing to reduce radar and infrared signature. Maximum payload, 40,000 pounds, including the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, a 30,000-pound bunkerbuster bomb designed to destroy targets buried deep underground. Range, 6,000 nautical miles unrefueled. With aerial refueling, the B-2 can strike virtually anywhere on Earth and return home in a single mission. Cost, over $2 billion per aircraft. Only 21 were ever built. 20 remain in service today. Now, let's get back to our story. The B-2's first combat mission came in 1999 over Kosovo, a relatively limited demonstration of the aircraft's ability to fly from the continental United States, strike targets in Europe, and return home in a single, non-stop sortie. It flew again over Afghanistan in 2001 and over Iraq in 2003, delivering precision strikes as part of larger air campaigns. But the mission that revealed the B-2's true purpose came decades after its Cold War origins. Not against Russia, but against Iran's nuclear program. Iran had spent years constructing nuclear enrichment facilities deep underground, at sites including Fordow and Natanz. Bunkers built into mountainsides, protected by hundreds of feet of rock and reinforced concrete, specifically designed to be immune to conventional airstrikes. Only one weapon in the American arsenal was believed capable of reaching them: the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, a 30,000-pound bunkerbuster bomb. And only one aircraft could carry it: the B-2 Spirit. In June 2025, in an operation the Pentagon called Midnight Hammer, 7 B-2s flew the mission. A round trip of more than 14,000 miles, refueled multiple times in the air, striking Fordow, Natanz, and supporting facilities before returning to Missouri without ever being detected by Iranian air defenses. Military analysts debated the operation's ultimate strategic impact for months afterward. How much lasting damage was actually done to Iran's nuclear program remains a question historians and defense analysts continue to examine. But as a demonstration of stealth technology and precision long-range strike capability, few missions in modern aviation history drew as much attention. The strike became a case study almost immediately, cited in military academies, defense journals, and aviation analysis for what it proved was technically possible. A bomber flying halfway around the world, penetrating some of the most heavily defended airspace on the planet, and returning home without ever being detected. What is not in question is the technical achievement. An aircraft designed in the late 1970s to defeat a Soviet air defense network that no longer exists proved, decades later, that it could still penetrate one of the most fortified target sets on the planet, undetected on the very first attempt. The B-2 is scheduled to remain in service into the 2030s, when it will gradually be replaced by the B-21 Raider, a newer, smaller, and reportedly less expensive stealth bomber currently in testing. But the B-2's legacy is already secure. It proved that stealth technology, once a theoretical concept debated by aerospace engineers in the 1970s, could be built into a functioning, deployable weapons system capable of striking anywhere on Earth without warning. It demonstrated repeatedly across 3 decades and multiple conflicts that an aircraft designed to defeat one adversary could remain relevant against entirely different threats decades later. And it showed that in modern warfare, the ability to arrive undetected, to strike before an adversary even knows an attack is underway, remains one of the most powerful advantages a military can possess. 20 B-2s remain in the American arsenal today. Each one represents billions of dollars, decades of engineering, and a level of secrecy that, even now, keeps much of what these aircraft are truly capable of hidden from public view. In 1989, the B-2 Spirit rolled out of a hangar in California, revealed to the public after 7 years of complete secrecy, an aircraft built to fight a war against the Soviet Union that never came. More than 3 decades later, it flew halfway around the world, undetected, to strike targets that conventional weapons could never reach. The B-2 was built for a threat that disappeared. It found new ones instead, and it continues to demonstrate, mission after mission, why stealth remains one of the most decisive advantages in modern air power. Few aircraft in history have cost so much, been built in such secrecy, or remained so consequential so long after the war that inspired them ended. If you'd like to support this project, the link is in the description below. Subscribe if you want more stories like this one. We'll see you on the next flight.